haven't done much vlogging lately, involving anything having to do with my writing. I took a little bit of a breather from being like militant about it. I don't know. I saying I was militant about it might be a little bit of a exaggeration, but I was feeling things. Little dust on my. There's a lot of dust and stuff on my laptop, um, but I just haven't cleaned it. Not that I was being militant about my writing process. I was feeling stress about a lot of things and how I was feeling about things. It shows on my face. Um, and yeah, and I had a few experiences over the last couple weeks that were a number of things. There was eye-opening experience. There was a reaffirming experience. There was a experience where I finally stood up for myself in a situation, and I'm sure I have yet to see the backlash involving that because when a woman stands up for themselves, and I hate to say this, I had to make this a man and woman thing, but it is. You don't know, but it is. um, and I'm sure I have yet to feel the backlash involving that. And I kind of cleaned up a lot of stuff in who I was following, who I was allowing myself and their opinions to matter too much. And I'm kind of like working with that. And I wrote a little bit both weeks. And that first week of the 2 weeks to two past weeks, um, I was feeling a lot of emotions and I filmed stuff. I really did. I filmed stuff, but then I didn't use it because it felt like I was getting too emotional. And I don't know if there's necessarily such a thing as being too emotional. I think that sometimes if it feels like you're being too emotional, you should really examine the reasons why you feel like you're feeling too emotional and then try to correct anything that's within your power. This seems a really responsible way of looking at it, doesn't it? So you try to do that, right? So you try to do something like that. You try to figure out why you're feeling a certain way and then correct it. Correct what you have, like what you can personally correct. Sometimes things are outside of your wheelhouse, outside of your ability, or not just ability, but access to fix. And you have to sit there and you have to be like, okay, this is outside my wheelhouse ability or access to fix. So, with that in mind, what do? You deal with the best way you can the things you have access to, the things that can be changed within you. And then maybe some of the things on the outside fall in line with that little mini alignment you do. And I'm still working on that. I'm still working on my little mini alignment. Um, and then on top of that, I've reached this point. Now let's kind of get off of my emotional state outside of the book. Um, and let's get into the process of the book. We have exceeded um, 50,000 words, and I had talked about the possibility. Um, I think actually this is content you didn't see. Yeah, I am over 50,000 words. I am just over 54,000 words. Apparently, I checked this morning. One of the first things I did when I sat here and I opened everything up, I am past 54,000 words. Um, for a little perspective, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which is the measure um, for things like everybody talks about NaNoWriMo, that The Great Gatsby was around 50,000 words. Now, technically, The Great Gatsby was just over 47,000 words. The Great Gatsby. Um, that's F. Scott Fitzgerald. A lot of us have probably read it as at some point in our educational journeys, and if you haven't, it's one of those ones that like one of those classic American. I guess we could call it American. Wasn't he an expatriate? I think it was one of those ones that went to France because everything sucked here. Maybe, maybe. Shit, I forget. I think he was definitely a part of that lost generation, the lost generation of writers. Um, in fact, that's what I would call my my publishing company or my publishing outfit if I ever had one is Lost Generation, um, because related partly to that, and how we're now experiencing a time period of a new lost generation, and their reaction to everything going on around them. Read up about the original lost generation of expatriate writers moving to other countries, especially France, Paris, parts of France, in particular Paris, during that time period, around the same time period that things like The Great Gatsby came out and that kind of thing, or before as well. And look into that because that's some interesting stuff. Um, People like T.S. Eliot and all that. The but yeah, the 50,000 words is the marker for programs like NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month, in November. People participate in that. They're working towards writing 50,000 words in a month. It took me longer to do that because I wasn't writing at the pace that people do for something like NaNoWriMo. Um, it's just, I didn't want to put myself through that. And really, I had tried to do NaNoWriMo before, but with no success whatsoever because I hadn't built up like a semi daily writing routine that's needed to do something like that. I feel it's needed to do something like that. But who knows? Maybe depending on where I stand with this novel, maybe it will be time to start writing on a new one. I got a couple ideas, um, and I can throw myself at least part of the way into that and see what happens. But what am I doing this week? Well, let's get to it. I've gone over 50,000 words and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this and I'm like, could I finish this in 20,000 words? Maybe. At the rate and the pace and the direction I'm going, could I do it? Maybe. But then there's also like this part of me that's a pretty good sized portion of me that's like, fuck no, you can't. You can't finish this idea the way you're going in 20,000 words. You can't. There's part of me, smaller part, says yes. There's a part of me that's a bigger part says no. So what are we doing? We are looking at, we have more than two copies of this manuscript in here, okay? Um, but we have a copy that I've set aside just specifically to go in and do more planning. Um, when it comes to the idea of this novel, I didn't outline it per se. I didn't put an outline on paper. I knew what I wanted to write about. I knew how I wanted to write it, but no official outline. Got some notes, got, that kind of thing. But I've reached a point where I'm like, okay, we need to plan the rest of this. And if we put the plan in, I'm not going to delete anything of these 54,000 words. Not deleting anything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this plan, I'm going to make this plan, and then we are going to go ahead and we are going to attack this manuscript based on the plan for the remainder of the book. And we're going to do that planning this week. So we're not going to base this writing vlog on word goals. This week, we've done the word goals. We've gone there, and it's now time to finally plan some shit. Like, actually, really. Like, every chapter in this book is titled with dates and times. Mostly dates, sometimes times. So, like, one has December 4th, 1998, 7 p.m. But then there's one that's just June 1st, 1998, you know, because it's not specifically specific to a time. And then you have one date that's there's two chapters for the date. One is 12 a.m., 12:01 a.m., and then there's 9 a.m. And then you have 2 p.m., 9 a.m. Yeah, 1, 7, and 10 p.m. for 3 chapters. Because I definitely wanted to separate what was going on at those times. But I have to go in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in spots with headers stating a date and a note that it's to be written, and put like a little statement of what I want to happen in that area. And then when that's done, hopefully I can do that all this week. Might have to, continue it into next week, but this week is going to be all about that planning. So enjoy me for that planning, if you like. So that's basically what this vlog is going to be about. Is that process. And we will do the best we can. So March 11th, 2014. Back to the drawing board. Not to start over, but to plan the rest of the book so that we're not all over the place and unaware of what we're doing. Let's make ourselves a little bit more aware of what we're doing this week and go from there. So, I have crazy hair, the most horrendous looking blemish right above my lip. But also, like, some of the driest fucking skin on my face. And I have summaries for at least 9 to 10 new chapters. Rough summary in the manuscript. This was all done yesterday. I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to have by the time I'm done. Oh, by the way, it is March 12th, 2024. I kind of struggled there for a second on whether I would say the year or not. March 12th, 2024. It is 8:06 a.m. This is a combination of things. I also found my scissors, and I've been hating how my shirts, some of my shirts, like, that are like from the dude section, right? Because with the exception of like Torrid, there's not many geeky shirts in the women's section. Hello, sexism in geek culture. And this is a Grogu shirt. Yeah, nice shot there of my boobs. This is a Grogu shirt, and I have a few. And this one I kind of got from the fact that my boyfriend got one, and it was a repeat of one that he had. So he gave me his. And the thing is like, with a lot of like, there's some like shirts that I got from the guys section, like, depending on the store and the composition of the shirt, like it falls okay on my neck and stuff. And then some of them, like, I know I'm a fat girl, and I know I have fullness here. Um, but the way that the t-shirts fell overly accentuated my my double chin. And I was like, if I just cut this off, and this is gonna happen to a couple shirts that I have. If I just cut this off, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be doing all right. Dry skin all over. So I did it with this one this morning before I put it on. That's one of those things that, I think a lot of people talk about and nobody is willing to change. um, this is a shirt built for a dude, right? This is a shirt built for a big guy. I mean, Joe is like 6'4". He like he's he's a big dude, and we wear similar sizes in t-shirts, obviously, because I'm wearing one. Um, but the way it falls on him, because he doesn't have boobs, it falls all weird on me. And that's a problem with geeky t-shirts as a whole, because geeky t-shirts, especially like to buy them like relatively inexpensively, um, you run the risk of it like being one of those shirts that kind of like crowds your chin and your neck if you're a woman. And if you're a fat woman like I am, no hate, no hate in the game. I am a fat woman. Okay? I am a plump, plus size woman. No hate, just honesty. Um, it does not look good, especially if you have weight in your chin like I do. And the fact of the matter is that like online, Hot Topic has some plus size stuff online, typically not in stores. Um, though they do have some softer t-shirts. Like I have a Batman shirt that I would not do this to because of the way it hits. But I don't have to, um, because the collar and everything is not stiff enough and up. It lays down, and so that is fine. But like sometimes, like Torrid has the geeky shirts, but it's never the geeky shirts that I'm looking for, mind you. Um, I would rather die than wear a Harry Potter t-shirt. Okay, um, I watched the films, and while the films were entertaining, not that bad, it's nothing that I really fangirl about. Um, plus, J.K. Rowling is a nasty turf, and I don't like that. And so you won't see me buying anything by J.K. Rowling, um, because here's the thing, and not everyone realizes this. And the thing is it, I had to realize that sometimes people don't go out there looking for this information, and you have to kind of supply it, and you have to supply it and be, um, sometimes you have to be patient with people because a lot of times they don't know certain things, and they don't know how certain things stack up. Um, there's a lot of people out there that still think um, that J.K. Rowling has been paid and done um, with Harry Potter. And no, she is not. Um, and when I said paid and done, um, she's been paid for everything Harry Potter. Anything else is profit for movie companies or book publishers. No. Not a lot of people realize this, and sometimes you have to be patient with people and realize that not everybody is armed with knowledge of that nature. Um, and not everyone is necessarily going out and looking for it. But what they do know is that they love the wizarding world and they don't realize the danger that she is. Um, so, if you happen to be seeing this and you're wondering what the hell, you know what? I was going to just work on my work, but let's go ahead. Let's make this more vlog like. Where sometimes I talk about my work and sometimes I bitch about things. So here we go. Um, a lot of people have lost, please note that a lot of people have lost their patience involving this whole situation. Um, that just because I'm patiently and politely explaining these things, that one does not mean I'm completely frustrated. Some people don't realize it still. Um, Two, completely frustrated that people still support that wench. Um, and three, just because I am politely explaining this stuff again to anyone who ends up hearing this or seeing this or whatever, that a lot of people are not polite about it anymore. Um, and I am not going to tell you that that's wrong. I am not going to tell you that it's wrong that people aren't polite about that sort of thing anymore, um, because a lot of people are hurt by this. There's a lot of people out there that are transgender that grew up loving Harry Potter and felt that it stood for something, and books, movies, everything. All right. Like, had their houses, that kind of thing. And then they, make discoveries about themselves. And a lot of times, like, you'll hear people talking about it, and it's like, before all this happened, they'll talk about how the Wizarding world had that impact on them to be true to who they truly were. Um, So when J.K. Rowling came out as a big old nasty turf, trans exclusionary radical feminist, um, that's what turf means. It was very hurtful to them. Um, and the first people that are hurt the most with this are people who are um, transgendered people that loved Harry Potter. A lot of people are hurt. You would like to think that it's not that huge of a number, but enough people are hurt that it matters. And, on down the line. Okay. And when it comes to people like me, I'm like below the table on who this matters to personally. So it's easier for me to patiently and politely explain this shit, right? Um, most interaction and and exposure to people from a young age that are, and people and the idea of the LGBTQ community for myself. Weird fuzz. Fuzz. Okay. Where was I? Okay. A lot of the structure and beliefs that I have came to me not because of exposure, but because I just felt like it was the right thing. I grew up in a small town where nobody was openly gay. Okay? Nobody that I knew, with the exception of maybe one person that was not in my age group. Okay? Now, fast forward many years later, people in my age group have since come out of the closet. Okay? So, there's that. I had to stop the video and start again. So, my age group, when I was growing up, nobody was out of the closet. Nobody was, openly gay at all. Lesbian, bisexual, gay, anything. Okay? It was just everyone trying to live the straightest life possible. Because amongst the cornfields, that at that moment in the 90s, amongst the cornfields was the safest thing you could do, especially when people were making those assumptions about you just because you were weird. Okay? Um, I remember not even having met a gay person in my life and still being like, hey, I don't care. I care because I care about people, but I don't care about the concept of somebody being gay and how it affects me. It doesn't affect me. Um, Somebody is gay, somebody is straight, somebody is whatever. Um, are you a good person? That's what I care about. Like, and that was always me. That was me before I even met anyone on the rainbow. Okay. Um, I was always that person. And I've had a lot of people tell me that they don't understand how someone is just automatically that person, but I was. I just was. And to be automatically that person, um, you ended up being the kind of person that everybody thought was gay, or on some part of the rainbow, but actually was not. So J.K. Rowling. This is the okay. So that was why I'm still able to be patient and polite about it, because it didn't really mean anything completely on my person. Like, it's outside of me. Um, so you kind of end up being kind of a mediator of sorts. So you have to understand that while, in summary, while I can be patient and polite and able to talk about these things, there are people very close to me that are unable to be patient and polite about it. Um, right from the get go, if something has the words Harry Potter on it or Wizarding World of Harry Potter, That is persona non grata to me. I will not buy. I will not watch. I will not give any kind of pause whatsoever. Um, I will not click on things unless it is outwardly um, just a news source. I do not watch reviews of games, everything. I don't. Boom, boom, boom. Absolutely not. Um, for me, it is persona non grata. Um, and I'll tell you why. This is the part that people don't necessarily understand, because here's the thing. Um, for the most part, in the publishing world, is of course, if you've done research into publishing, you are aware of this. um, but this is primarily for people that have not or are unaware of the monster in publishing that contract was. So, under most circumstances, you have people write a book series, and it ends up becoming a TV show or a movie, and it gets optioned. Well, people typically will, in Too Long Didn't Read, okay, people will get um, payment for that option. That option lasts a certain amount of time, as dictated by the option. There's typical, standard amounts of time these things last. And the people that are set to profit off of that sort of thing um, get the payment for that option. That option um, is in existence, where the people that are holding the option have a certain amount of time to produce the product. That looked kind of cool. My hands like that. And authors are usually cut into that deal in a way that they get a percentage of that option money, right? This is typical. Um, some authors just get the option money, and basically, um, whatever the company that's optioned wants to do within reason, they get to do. Um, a case in point of that is True Blood. Okay, so HBO got the optioning rights for True Blood from the publisher and the author Charlene Harris. She wrote the book series, now completed, um, chronicling the adventures of the uh, mind reading Suki, mind reading bar waitress Suki Stackhouse, through the world of vampires and supernatural beings. Yeah. I read the entire series. That was me. I did that. I read the entire thing. Um, so I was in the middle of reading all of this when HBO put out their series. And that first season followed the books pretty closely. From the second season on, it was such a departure. It was it was such a departure. You started seeing posts from the author saying, I have nothing to do with this. All I did was write the source material, and they are doing what they feel is best for their programming. There was a lot of things that did not go well there. As a fan of the book series, um, there were a lot of things that were either omitted or changed in a way that it sucked. It sucked. It sucked very much. I did not like it. Thank you. I hate it. Thank you. I hate it. But when that's typical though. All right. So like, not that I hate things. Sometimes I like things. Um, but the deal is typical where it's optioned and it happens, right? But the author is paid out of the option and everybody moves on with their lives. And if an author, in regards to the books, is lucky enough um, to outsell their advance, they'll start earning royalties. You have some big authors that will outsell their advances. Most authors do not. The big authors end up paying for a lot of the rest of the publishing industry because of how much these publishers make off of people like um, Stephen King or J.K. Rowling. Um, J.K. Rowling made such a deal, though. When I say deal, I mean contracts, that kind of thing. Whereas when anything, this is a TLDR as well. I'm gonna try to pinpoint this so that you understand. If you don't understand, you will understand by the time I'm done. J.K. Rowling got such a deal involving the publishing of her books that what happened with True Blood does not happen to Harry Potter. One, nothing happens in Harry Potter without her approval. Two, when True Blood was coming out, you had like marketing and everything like that. So like they had those like True Blood, blood orange flavored sodas. Charlene Harris didn't see any money from that. Now, they were not that great. They were okay. I tried them. Um, on the other hand, J.K. Rowling, anytime a product goes on the market at the Wizarding World, at Walmart, okay? And it has the Harry Potter or Wizarding World at all attached to it. And you buy it. Okay, so you go to Walmart and you buy a Harry Potter 2024 calendar. Okay? Simple. She makes money off your purchase directly. Directly makes money off your purchase. That calendar, she makes money off that purchase. You buy the little jelly beans in the store, like the little package, the jelly beans. She makes profit off of your sale. Every item. This is why this woman is richer than God. Okay? Um, and every time you make a purchase, money goes into her bank account. This is the deal she has struck. All those people that were like, well, I'm excited, I'm going to play the game anyway. So I love Harry Potter. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, what does it matter? She's been paid for it already. No, she hasn't. She's actively being paid for it right now. You go to the checkout with that game, she's paid from your purchase. Every time you visit the Wizarding World and you pay to enter, she's paid. Every time you purchase a butterbeer at Universal, she is paid. So, do I judge people that buy Harry Potter things still? Yes. I judge big time. Because then she turns around and she uses that clout. Well, people are still buying my stuff, so maybe what I'm saying, people agree with me. She says stuff like that. She's actively said things like that. People, I'm still making money, so apparently people agree with me and they're just not telling you. She has said things like that. She is a monster. And she makes money off of what every one of your Wizarding World purchases. Every one of them. Because believe me, if you think that she has not out earned that advance, you got nothing coming. Even if you just go purchase the book new because you're like, I want to share this with my little niece, nephew, or anything like that because it meant something to me, she makes money off your purchase. That's an additive to her royalty check. You buy a a t-shirt, royalty check. You buy um, a drink, royalty check. You buy candy with the name Wizarding World Harry Potter on it, check. And because she is still making a shit ton of money every month, every day, every year, she thinks you're complacent to her bullshit. So, I gotta tell you, if you buy Harry Potter things, I do judge you. Yep, I do. Because you're allowing somebody to profit off of hate. If you go to Chick-fil-A, I judge you. I'll see the long lines outside of Chick-fil-A and I'll be like, hate chicken, judge it. If you go to Chick-fil-A, I judge you. Yeah. But this is not getting my work done, but I feel it's important. I feel it's important to talk about shit like this because I don't think, like I said, I don't think everybody knows. I don't think everybody understands. So every time somebody sees this and they have that knowledge imparted on them, that's important. That's important. Be the change. You hear that fucking phrase all the time. Like, be the change you want to see in the world. So, be the change you want to see in this world. And get to work because we don't have any time. Time's running out. Every day. Support your LGBTQ trans community, your transgender community, and don't buy Harry Potter anymore. That was a turn in a rant that I did not expect to take. This was an informative moment brought to you by the urgency of now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some writing later. Woo! Yeah, that took a turn. See, so it is March 17th, 2024, 7:29 p.m. I have everything mapped out for the rest of the book. Roughly mapped out for the rest of the book. I have at least. Well, I'm going to keep to myself exactly how much is left to write because I'm a little bit worried about it. But now that I know where it's going, hopefully we can get there pretty easily. I'm already seeing where some portions are going to have to be, some portions that I kind of looked at over the last few days that are going to probably end up being cut. Which is unfortunate because there's like in some of the places that I think might need to be cut, like I'm actually kind of liking some of the stuff that's going on there, but it's going to be too long. If I'm afraid, I'm not cutting anything yet. I'm not. Um, Everything else has to get written, and then I'll decide if I want to cut anything. But yeah. Whew. And I've decided, I think that if I am going to announce the name that I'm working with for the book, um, like the working title of the book. So tired that I'm probably going to wait until it's at least that whole rough draft is completed. So, yeah. March 17th, Irish Heritage Appreciation Day. And I have mapped out roughly the rest of Catherine's journey in this book. Now I just gotta go back and write it. That's the key, right? Now you just gotta go back and write it. Join me. Not now. I'm gonna end the video now, but join me. Let's do this.